I'm 24, and the girl who had been my completely unattainable crush for the past 8 months had just told another woman that I was her boyfriend. The problem was that no one had informed me. The party after the home game was loud. Too loud. Music. About 40 people packed into a big rented house near campus. Red plastic cups. People constantly moving between rooms. I stood near the kitchen island with a bottle of water, calculating exactly how rude it would be to leave 20 minutes after my best friend had practically kidnapped me and brought me here. Jake Morrison appeared beside me. Don't. What? Leave. I didn't say anything. You have the face of a man who already called an Uber. My car is outside. Even worse. I looked at him. I wanted to grab pizza and go home. Exactly why you occasionally need to be dragged into society. I talk to people. Baristas don't count. She asked my name. That's part of the transaction. Still communication. Jake closed his eyes. You're going to spend your last year of college designing buildings and speaking exclusively to coffee machines. Coffee machines don't require small talk. He opened his mouth to answer, didn't get the chance. From the other side of the kitchen. Ryan! I turned. Samantha Brooks was walking toward us. Sam, 23, one of the university cheerleaders. Long light brown hair tied into a high ponytail. Brown eyes. White university t-shirt beneath a red team jacket. Athletic. Beautiful enough that during the first few months I knew her, I had consciously forbidden myself from staring too long. She saw me, smiled, and that smile still had an embarrassingly strong effect on my mood. She walked over, immediately hugged me. You came! I looked at Jake over her shoulder. I was abducted. Sam released me, looked at him. Thank you. Jake bowed. My pleasure. Traitor! He slapped my shoulder. Enjoy socializing, then disappeared. Sam looked at my bottle. Water? Yeah. At a party? I'm driving. Responsible. Occasionally. She nudged my shoulder. I thought you wouldn't come. You sent 4 messages. So the method works. It had actually been 5. The last one, if you don't come, I'm coming to get you myself. I still wasn't entirely sure whether that had been a joke. Sam stayed beside me for about 10 minutes, told me about the game, complained that one stunt in the 3rd quarter nearly collapsed because the flyer had placed her foot wrong. I listened. Then some friends called her over. Before leaving, she said, Don't go anywhere. I'm an adult man. That isn't an answer. I'll try. She narrowed her eyes. Ryan. Fine. Good boy. Then walked away. I stayed there. From somewhere across the room, Jake pointed 2 fingers at his eyes and then at me. I ignored him. About an hour later, another woman approached. I had seen her before. Business major, I think. Blonde. Pretty. Ryan, right? Yeah. We met at Kevin's place. Right. Honestly, not right. But it sounded polite. She smiled. You here alone? Came with a friend. That's not what I meant. Oh, now I understood. We talked for maybe 5 minutes. Normal conversation. She seemed nice. Then she touched my arm. Are you always this serious? No. When aren't you? I was about to answer, didn't get the chance. A woman's hand suddenly appeared around my left forearm. Sam materialized beside me so quickly that I genuinely had no idea where she had come from. Sorry, she smiled at the woman. I'm stealing him. The woman looked at her, then at Sam's arm linked through mine. You 2 together? Sam answered completely calmly. Yeah. I turned my head. What? Sam looked at me. What? The woman said. Got it. Smiled. See you around. Then left. I slowly turned toward Sam. She was still holding my arm. We're together? Sam blinked. What do you mean? You just said we were. We're together at the party. I came with Jake. Don't ruin it. Ruin what? She released my arm. Nothing. I stared. This is social together. What is social together? We're in the same house. There are 40 people here. Ryan. Sam. She crossed her arms. And suddenly I understood. You were jealous. No. Sam. She looked away. A little. My heart did something strange. Why? She opened her mouth, closed it, looked toward where the blonde had gone, then back at me. And apparently 8 months of hints, stolen food, borrowed hoodies, invitations, breakfasts, and mutual stupidity finally broke something inside her. She said, Because you're my crush, idiot. The music kept playing, Someone nearby laughed. A plastic lid hit the kitchen floor, and I just stared at her. I'm your what? Sam closed her eyes. Oh my God. No, seriously. She opened them. Crush. You? Yes. On me? No, on Jake. Very funny. Obviously on you. I stood there. She started blushing, badly. Can you say something? I'm processing. You're an architecture student, not a computer. Architecture requires processing too. I hate you. I started laughing. And to explain how two people who had liked each other for almost a year ended up in a situation where one of them had to literally declare the other her boyfriend in front of a stranger, we need to go back. About 11 months. We met because of coffee. I was sitting in the university cafe. A large drawing spread in front of me. Laptop, pencils, ruler. I needed to finish a concept for a small community pavilion for one of my design studios. The cafe was loud. I was working. Someone behind me said, "Careful." Then, oh, I managed to lift the drawing. A coffee cup hit the edge of the table. Half the drink spilled across the surface. Some of it landed on the sleeve of my white shirt. The woman in front of me froze. I already knew who Samantha Brooks was. A lot of people did. Not personally. Cheerleaders were visible at most major university events. Sam was noticeable. Very noticeable. She looked at my shirt. Oh my God. I looked too. I think I'll survive. I'll buy you another one. It's coffee. On a white shirt. I looked at it. Custom design now. She unexpectedly laughed. Are you always this calm? No. No? Sometimes I sleep. She laughed again. Then grabbed napkins, started helping. I said, it's fine. I spilled it. Someone bumped you. Still. We cleaned the table. The drawing survived. The shirt, less so. She said, I should compensate. You don't have to. Coffee? I looked at what remained in her cup. That sounds dangerous. I'll buy it and not carry it. Then yes. That was our first coffee together. I expected 5 minutes of conversation. It became 40. She asked what I was drawing. I explained. She actually listened. Why is the roof higher here? Light. What do you mean? I showed her. If it slopes like this, we get more natural light during the afternoon. But won't it get hotter in summer? I looked at her. Yes. So you need something else too. Exactly. She smiled. I'm smart. I never doubted it. A lot of people see the uniform and assume cheerleaders only know how to count to 8. You count to 8? Her eyes narrowed. I'm about to spill the second coffee. Understood. After that, we started saying hello. At first, just, hey. Then she occasionally sat down beside me. Within a few weeks, it became normal. I work. Sam appears. Sets down a drink. Sits. Drawing again? Yeah. What today? I explain. She listens. Sometimes asks good questions. Sometimes terrible ones. Can you put a pool here? It's a library. So no? Probably no. Boring. The first thing she started stealing was fries. We were eating in the cafeteria one day. I had a burger and fries. Sam had a salad. 5 minutes later, her hand appeared over my plate. I looked at it. She took a fry. That's mine. Was. You could order your own. Yours tastes better. It came from the same kitchen. She ate it. Emotionally better. Next time, again. Third time. Fourth. Eventually, I stopped fighting. Started ordering a large portion. She noticed. You got large. Yeah. Why? You're going to steal them anyway. Her expression unexpectedly softened. That's really cute. That's loss management. Don't ruin it. She took a fry. Obviously. Around then I realized I liked her. Not because she was beautiful. I had noticed that on day one. Because being around her was easy. She could talk for 10 minutes straight. Then suddenly ask a serious question and actually listen to the answer. She was popular without building her whole personality around popularity. She knew the names of people who worked around campus. After practice, she helped younger girls with routines. One day, I saw her sitting outside the locker room with a freshman who was crying after a bad performance. Sam didn't give her cliches. She just listened. I remember thinking, bad. Because a crush on a beautiful woman is survivable. A crush on a beautiful woman you also genuinely like as a person is much more dangerous. I told Jake about a month later. We sat at his place. He asked, who? Sam Brooks. He stopped eating. The cheerleader? Yeah. The one who constantly sits with you in the cafe? Sometimes. The one who took your jacket yesterday? She was cold. And kept it? Forgot to return it. Ryan. What? Ask her out. I don't think she likes me like that. Jake stared. She sat on your jacket yesterday so you couldn't leave. She was comfortable. She sat on the jacket. Yeah. The jacket you were trying to take. Yeah. So you would stay. Possibly. He covered his face. Sometimes intelligence is distributed very unfairly. Meanwhile, roughly the same conversation was happening on the other side. I learned this later from Mia, Sam's best friend on the team. Mia asked, Ryan showed up again? Sam, yeah. And? And what? Are you dating? No. Why? He's slow. Mia, did you tell him you like him? No. Then he isn't slow. You're secretive. I literally steal his food. Mia looked at her. A pigeon mating ritual would be clearer. Sam, don't exaggerate. You stole his hoodie yesterday. I was cold. The second one. The first is at home. Exactly. Cheerleading became its own part of our strange, almost friendship, almost romance. Sam started inviting me to games. At first, coming Friday? Me. Don't know. Her. Come. 1 week later. You coming Friday? Maybe. No. What do you mean, no? She took my phone. Sam! 1 second. Opened my calendar, added an event, handed it back. I looked. Friday, 7 p.m. Samantha requires emotional support. You put yourself in my calendar. Yes. Without permission. Now you're busy. This is dictatorship. Yes. I went. During warm-ups, Sam saw me in the stands. I wasn't sure at first, until she smiled directly toward me. After the game, the team gathered near the court. Sam came out, looked around, found me, walked over immediately. You came. It was in the calendar. She laughed, hugged me. Nothing unusual. Except Mia stood behind her, watching us with the expression of someone observing a rare biological event. Sam released me. Mia said, very platonic, shut up. I didn't say anything. Exactly. Then came breakfasts. The first one happened after I complained that I never had enough time to eat properly on early mornings. The next day, I sat in the architecture studio. My phone buzzed. Did you eat? No, why? Didn't have time. 15 minutes later, Sam walked in. Paper bag. I stared. Where were you? Nearby. You live 20 minutes from here. Relatively nearby. She put breakfast in front of me. Eat. You drove here for this? I have practice in an hour. On the other side of campus. She paused. Eat, Ryan. I ate and thought, she's just thoughtful. Yes, I was genuinely that bad. But it wasn't because I completely lacked a brain. Sam was like that with people. She could bring a friend coffee, help a freshman, hug someone she knew. Compliments came easily. I didn't want to become that man who decided. She smiled at me, therefore, she wants a relationship. So, every signal received a rational explanation. Hoodies? Cold. Fries? Likes fries. Games? Needs support. Breakfast? Thoughtful. The fact that those explanations became less convincing every week was something I preferred not to examine. Then came the charity project. The university partnered with a city foundation to renovate a small public sports court near a school. Old surface, broken benches, bad lighting. They needed fundraising, volunteers, and a new concept. Our school joined the design work. Athletic teams handled fundraising and events. I ended up as one of the architecture students working on the plan. Sam became one of the coordinators from the team. When she saw the list, you? Me. Perfect. Why? Now you're officially required to spend time with me. I looked at her. She realized how that sounded. For the project. Of course. The first major meeting proved Sam was nothing like the stereotype some people automatically assigned to her. She arrived with spreadsheets, sponsor contacts, volunteer schedules, budget, task list. I looked at everything. You did this? She narrowed her eyes. Surprised? Opposite. Impressed. Correct answer. 1 hour later, a guy from the economics club said, "Didn't expect a cheerleader to be this good with spreadsheets." Sam smiled. But I could see the comment annoyed her. I said, Didn't expect a university student to still rely on stereotypes. He stopped. That's not what I meant. Good. Then the meeting continued. Later we walked through the hallway. Sam asked, "Were you defending me?" "Correcting stupidity." Very diplomatic. "I try." "Thank you." "No problem." She looked at me longer than usual. I pretended not to notice. The project gave us an official reason to spend a lot of time together. We went to choose materials, inspected the site, discussed surfacing, benches, lighting. One day, we went to a huge building supply store. Sam pushed the cart. I added samples. She asked, "Can I ask you something weird?" "You usually do anyway." "If this were a date, where would you take me?" I stopped. The building supply store isn't enough? Already losing points, I thought. Italian restaurant. She listened carefully. Then, a walk. Then, dessert. That's all? Do I need an 8-hour itinerary? I'm collecting data. For what? Scientific curiosity. I looked at her. Suspicious. She looked away. The following day, I got a message. "Want Italian tonight?" Me. "Sure." "Discuss the project?" 5 minutes of silence. Yes. The project, obviously. I arrived at the restaurant. Sam wore a dress, dark blue, beautiful, very. I stopped. "You look amazing." She smiled in a way that should have made me understand everything. "Thank you." We sat, ordered, talked for 15 minutes. Then I pulled out my tablet. I brought the latest plans. Sam's expression changed. "Of course you did. We were going to discuss them." She stared for several seconds. "Obviously." I opened the drawing. "I'm thinking of moving the benches here." She closed her eyes. "Okay." Later, according to Mia, I wore a dress. "Did he notice?" "Yes." "Tell you you looked beautiful?" "Yes." "So what happened?" He took out the tablet. "No." "Yes." "AutoCAD?" "Yes." Mia apparently put her face directly on the table. "Samantha, I can't keep watching this." "He's smart." "Not in this field." After that dinner, Sam moved to more direct methods. One day we sat at the court after a meeting. She asked, "What kind of women do you like?" "Why?" "Scientific research." "Again?" "Yes." I thought. "Smart." She straightened slightly. "Funny." Smiled. "Active." "Even better." "Good with people." She looked increasingly pleased. I realized where the conversation was going. Still wasn't completely sure. So I decided to tease her a little. "Light brown hair." She froze. "Brown eyes." Sam slowly said, "And?" "About 5'5", her exact height. She narrowed her eyes. "And?" I looked directly at her. "That is a suspiciously specific question." She stood. "Forget it," then walked away. I stayed there, smiling. That was the first time I really thought, maybe. Not definitely, but maybe. Jake said, "Ask her." "I want certainty." "She made you describe her." I described her. "That is worse. She might have just been curious." "Ryan, I'm personally enrolling both of you in communication therapy." Meanwhile, Sam stole hoodie number 3. I walked into the student center. She sat there wearing my gray one. "That's mine." "Not anymore." "That's the 3rd collection. Give me at least one back." "No." "Why?" Without thinking, she lifted the collar toward her face and inhaled. Stopped. I stared. She slowly lowered it. "Good laundry detergent." "Of course." "Don't." I didn't say anything. "Your face." "What's wrong with it?" Too pleased. "You smelled my hoodie." Slander. Mia sat across from us. "I'm a witness." Sam. "You're fired from friendship." Then came Sam's regional competition. Not a normal game, a real performance. I went. I didn't bring flowers because I thought that might be too much. I brought her favorite sports drink and a chocolate bar. After the performance, she saw me, actually ran toward me, hugged me, harder than usual. "You came." "Of course." I handed over the bag. "This is for you." She looked inside. "You remembered. You always buy the same thing." Mia appeared beside us. Very platonic. Sam didn't even release me. "I'm going to kill you one day." Mia. "But marry him first." "Mia," I asked. "What?" Both women. "Nothing." Once again, I chose not to analyze it. Life was calmer that way. Until the university formal. Sam was going with Daniel from the athletics committee. Not romantically. They were both organizers. But I heard someone say, "Sam's going with Daniel." and discovered I disliked that information very much. Jake noticed. Congratulations. For what? You're finally experiencing the consequences of doing nothing. It isn't a date. Then why do you look like that? Like what? Like an architect put the door in the wrong wall. I stared. Very specific comparison. I spend too much time around you. I went to the formal too. Sam wore a long red dress. When I saw her, I almost forgot why I was even in the building. She walked over. Hi. Hi. What? Nothing. You're staring. You're beautiful. Sam smiled. Thank you. Daniel was normal, which was worse. No villain. No arrogance. Polite guy. They talked. Sam kept looking in my direction. Eventually, Daniel noticed too. As she later told me, you realize you look at that guy every 20 seconds? No. Yes. We're friends. Then I'm very glad this isn't our date. She looked at him. Why? Because competing with that expression is pointless. What expression? The one you use when you look at him. I look normally. Sure. Don't start. Go talk to him. No. Why? Because he doesn't understand anything. Daniel. I think the problem is mutual. After the event, I walked Sam to her car. She was quiet. Then, were you jealous? No. She looked at me. Liar. I exhaled. A little. Her expression instantly became pleased. Good. Why good? She looked ahead. Nothing. Sam. Good night, Ryan. Then got into the car. After that, I had practically decided I was going to ask her out. Properly. Directly. No guessing. I just wanted the right moment. And before I found it, the post-game party happened. The same party where Sam told another woman that we were together. Then confessed, "You're my crush, idiot." I stood in front of her. Now I knew everything. "You're serious?" She crossed her arms. "No, I confess to men for cardio." "How long?" "What? How long have you liked me?" Her expression became less defensive. "Almost a year." I froze. "Almost a year?" "Yes." "You could have told me." Sam opened her mouth. "I stole 3 hoodies. Theft isn't a confession. I brought you breakfast. You're thoughtful. I made you come to games. I thought you needed support. I invited you to Italian dinner wearing a dress. You said," she snapped, "you were the one who said it was about the project." I stopped, remembered the messages. "Want Italian tonight? Discuss the project?" She actually had never said that. I said, "Oh, Sam. Oh? Now I see it. I hate you." I started laughing. She tried to stay angry, then started laughing too. "You really thought I invited you there to work?" "Yes." "In a dress? I thought you had plans afterward." "With you? Obvious now. I'm going to kill you. But I'm your crush." She froze. "What?" I realized I had almost said it directly for the first time. "You're mine too." Her entire face changed. "Seriously?" "Very." "Since when?" "Almost as long." She just stared. "Ryan." "What?" "We're 2 idiots." "Looks like it. I liked you for almost a year." "Same. And we did nothing. The sports court turned out nice." She hit my chest. "Do not talk about the project right now." I caught her hand. Didn't release it. "Okay. Okay. Tomorrow. 7. She blinked. "What?" "Real date. No AutoCAD. Tablet stays home. Promise?" "On my honor." She looked at our hands, then me. 7. The next evening, I arrived outside her place at 6:58. She came out. Dark dress, jacket, hair down. I opened the passenger door. Sam stopped. "Seriously?" "What?" "The door." "Yes. I know how to open one." "I know." "Then why?" "Because I want to." She sat. "That's dangerous." "Why?" "I like it." We went to the same Italian restaurant. When she saw the sign, "No." "What?" "You actually remembered." "Of course." "From the building supply store?" "Yes." "Then a walk?" "Maybe." "Then dessert?" "If you behave." She narrowed her eyes. "I pursued you for a year. You're the one who needs to behave." "Fair." This time, there was no tablet. Sam checked. Actually looked at the empty chair beside me. "What are you looking for?" "AutoCAD." "At home." "Good boy." You enjoy saying that too much. During dinner, for the first time, we talked like 2 people actually on a date. Not about the project, not university, not the team. I asked about her family. She asked about mine. She told me why she started cheerleading, not popularity. She had done gymnastics as a kid, then got injured, found her way back through cheer. What she loved was synchronization, working with people, precision. Everyone thinks we just wave pom-poms. I've seen practice. And? Looks like a complicated way to get injured. Romantic. I'm an architecture student. You always use that excuse. After dinner, we actually went for a walk, then dessert. Sam said, "This is literally the date you described." Yes. You remembered everything. Of course. You know what's most annoying? What? I spent 8 months trying to get your attention, and you got everything right in one night. I had time to prepare. She linked her arm through mine. Unfair. When I drove her home, neither of us rushed. I asked, "Can I kiss you?" She looked at me like I was insane. "I spent almost a year pursuing you." "That isn't an answer." She laughed. "Yes." I got out, walked around the car. She stood near her door. I put one hand at her waist, kissed her. The first kiss was simultaneously easier and better than I expected. Sam wrapped both arms around my neck, kissed me back immediately, then moved closer. When we separated, she was smiling. "Finally, you're mine." I raised an eyebrow. "That sounds possessive." "I invested a year." "That sounds worse," she thought. "Fine, you voluntarily agreed to be mine." "Better." "But the hoodies are mine." "No. Relationship condition. We didn't negotiate that. Too late." Life became much funnier after that, because practically everyone around us already considered us a couple. Mia found out. Finally, Jake. Finally, Daniel. Finally. I asked, "Why is everyone using the same word?" Jake said, "Because we spent 8 months watching a social experiment." Sam, "It was his fault." I said, "You could have told me. I wore your clothes." Very subtle. Official dating barely changed her habits. She still stole fries, only now she could lean over, kiss my cheek, then take one. Is that a bribe? Yes. Works. The hoodie problem got worse. One day, I opened her closet. 3 of mine were hanging there. Sam, "What? Is this a museum?" "Collection. One literally says Carter. We could fix the last name." I stared. She realized. Her face turned red. "With a marker." "Of course. I meant with a marker. Never doubted it." She closed the closet. "Get out." I went to her competitions, now voluntarily. No calendar coercion required. Sometimes I brought flowers. Always water, a snack. After difficult performances, I carried her bag. She said, "I can carry it." "I know." "Then? I want to help." She smiled. In return, Sam came to my presentations. Even boring ones. Especially boring ones. Once she sat in the front row, while I spent 20 minutes explaining a public space concept to a review panel. Afterward, she approached. I understood nothing about the load calculations. "That's normal. But you looked smart." "Thank you." She stepped closer. "Very sexy smart. Better." The charity project finished well too. We raised the money, built the court. At the opening, there were kids everywhere. The cheer team did some simple demonstrations. Sam participated. Later, I helped a little boy assemble a small wooden model pavilion. Sam stood nearby. Mia walked over. I didn't hear their conversation, but she told me later. "Stop looking like that." "Like what?" "Like you're already naming the children." "Sam, shut up. You're gone." "I'm just looking." "Of course." We dated for several months before the relationship became physically closer. No one rushed it. Sam stayed late often. We kissed a lot. Sometimes she fell asleep beside me on the couch. But she went home. One night after a date, it was already late. We sat at my place. Her head rested on my shoulder. Then she said, "I don't want to go home tonight." I looked at her. "You sure?" "Yes." "You can stay and just sleep." "I know." She lifted her head. "That's not what I mean." Now it was clear. We still talked. Protection, health, boundaries, what felt comfortable, what didn't. Sam listened. Then joked nervously, "I can perform in front of 10,000 people, and somehow I'm more nervous right now." I smiled. "Because you don't like 10,000 people this much." She looked at me. Some of the tension disappeared. "Good answer. True answer." "You nervous too?" "Of course." "Doesn't show." "I hide it well." She smiled. "Then we can continue." The intimacy was warm, sensual, passionate. But what I remembered most was how quickly her usual outward confidence faded once things became real. I didn't tease her, didn't rush, just stayed with her. She gradually relaxed too. Lots of kissing, touching, mutual initiative. If something needed changing, we said so. If we needed to slow down, we did. No guessing games. Afterward, Sam lay against my chest, one finger drawing circles. So, what? Technically, now you're definitely all mine. I looked at her. Back to ownership? Yes. Half. She lifted her head. 90%. 51. 70. 60. 65. Deal. She looked satisfied. Excellent. Very legal. My percentage includes the hoodies. No. Negotiations are closed. Several months later came our first real fear. Graduation was approaching. College ending. The team ending too. Sam became quieter. One day after practice, we sat in the stands. She asked, "You think everything changes after graduation?" Of course. Very reassuring. I wasn't finished. Continue. No campus. Different schedules. People move. She looked at me. Exactly. But that doesn't mean the relationship disappears. What if all of this only works here? I understood. You think we're just part of senior year? She shrugged. Sometimes. I moved closer. I'm not dating the university. She looked at me. I'm dating you. Very simple phrasing. Because the problem is simpler than it feels. So what do? Don't make a 20-year plan today. An architecture student saying not to plan? Write down the date. She laughed. Then? Choose the next step, then another. That's very adult. Sometimes. She rested her head on my shoulder. Okay. After graduation, we didn't fall apart. Surprisingly. I started working. So did she. We no longer saw each other every day automatically. So we planned. Dates. Weekends. Sometimes she came over after work. Sometimes I picked her up. The relationship became less collegiate, more real. 1 year later, we moved in together. Our first morning living together started with conflict. I was looking for my gray hoodie. Sam! From the kitchen. What? Where's my hoodie? Which one? You know? I walked out. She sat at the table, wearing it. Seriously? What? That's mine. Was. Take it off. No. We live together. You own clothes. Yours are emotionally more comfortable. I stopped. She smiled. The exact same argument she once used about my fries. Is this revenge? Loss management. I laughed. You're terrible. But yours. Ownership again. 65%. We never signed that. Verbal agreement. We lived well. Not perfectly. She was much more energetic. I liked quiet. On Saturday, she could say, "Farmer's market. We just woke up." Exactly. How is that related? Fresh vegetables. They'll still be fresh in an hour. She was already putting on shoes. But sometimes I dragged her into quiet. Today, nothing. What do you mean? Food, movie, home. No people? No people, she thought. That's extremely sexy. A couple years after that party, we returned for an alumni event, saw the old sports court, the same one we had helped build. Sam looked at it. Here you still thought I was just friendly. Yes. This is where I asked what kind of women you liked. I remember. And you literally described me. Yes. And then did nothing. I was collecting data. I hate that sentence. We kept walking. Near the old cafe, she stopped. And here? You spilled coffee on me. Someone bumped me, technically. And that's where everything started. Maybe. She took my hand. You know, I honestly thought you'd never understand. Almost didn't. I stole 3 hoodies. Very subtle love language. Brought breakfast. Charity. Made you come to games. Emotional support. Invited you on a date. Work dinner. She covered her face. That still hurts. I kissed her temple. But now I understand. What? You're still my crush. Sam lifted her head. Still? Yeah. Her smile softened. Good answer. Thanks. Same. I'm still your crush? Unfortunately. Romantic. She wrapped herself around my arm. Deal with it. Once, I had considered Samantha Brooks completely unattainable. Popular, beautiful, cheerleader, knew half the campus, smiled at people as though she had never doubted herself once in her life. And I was just a guy who liked drawings, quiet evenings, and analyzed every social situation far too much. Then it turned out that the unattainable woman had spent 8 months, stealing my food, stealing hoodies, putting herself in my calendar, bringing breakfast, inviting me to games, driving around with me buying building materials, inviting me to Italian dinner, asking me to literally describe my ideal woman, and after all of that, still waiting for me to finally understand. In my defense, I did understand, eventually, very eventually. Sam stopped near the edge of campus. What are you thinking about? That Italian dinner, immediately. Don't. You could have said date. I wore a dress. People wear dresses. At 7 at night. That happens. I did my makeup. You often do. I sat across from you literally waiting. And I brought drawings. She closed her eyes. The most painful part. I laughed. She poked my chest. If we ever tell our kids this story, that part is removed. I froze. So did she. The words had escaped accidentally. Sam turned red. I smiled. Relax. I meant hypothetically. Obviously. Very hypothetically. Understood. She narrowed her eyes. Why are you smiling? Nothing. Ryan. What? Don't start planning. I'm an architect. She laughed. I hate you. No. She stepped closer, hugged me. Especially not right now. I kissed her. And in the end, our biggest problem had never been a lack of mutual interest. We were both reasonably intelligent adults. We simply managed to become unbelievably stupid in exactly one area. I was afraid of mistaking friendliness for romantic interest. She was afraid to confess directly, and therefore decided 3 stolen hoodies were an internationally recognized language of love. Maybe if that woman hadn't approached me at the party, we would have continued the same ridiculous game for another several months. Fortunately, Sam finally got tired of it, walked over, linked her arm through mine, told a complete stranger, yeah, we're together. And when I, quite reasonably, asked for clarification, she finally lost patience and delivered the most effective romantic confession of my life. Because you're my crush, idiot. Sometimes love doesn't need perfect words. Sometimes it just needs one extremely stubborn cheerleader to finally stop hinting. And tell the architect directly, preferably before he opens AutoCAD again.
You spilled your coffee on my drawing. White shirt never stood a chance. Bought me another cipher, 40 minutes. Guess that should have been the first advance. Then you started stealing all my French fries. Said mine tasted better somehow. So I started ordering the larger size. Still didn't figure it out. You took my jacket, kept it, then took another one too. Jake said, man, she wants you. I said, she's probably just cold. Yeah, that aged beautifully. You were easy with everybody. That was exactly why I stayed behind. I'd rather miss 1,000 signals than turn your kindness into something you never had in mind. I drew every line, but somehow missed the sign. You were writing I want you in a language I kept redesigning in my mind. 3 stolen hoodies, breakfast at my desk. Your name inside my calendar should have probably helped connect every line, but somehow I missed the sign. You were my crush, I was yours, and somehow we both lost almost a year. He said, what kind of women do you like? I should've known where that would go. Smart, funny, active, brown eyes, light brown hair, 5'5" or so. You stood there matching every answer, then asked me, and? I said, that's suspiciously specific. You walked away, Jake nearly died. Then you invited me to Italian dark blue dress, 7 at night. I brought my tablet, opened AutoCAD, and murder romance right before your eyes. focus. I thought we had a project due. You thought it can't be this hopeless. Turns out, yeah, apparently I could. I drew every line, but somehow missed the sign. You were right and I want you in a language I kept redesigning in my mind. 3 stolen hoodies, breakfast at my desk. Your name inside my calendar should have probably helped connect every line, but somehow I missed the sign. You were my crush, I was yours, and somehow we both lost almost a year. And then I saw you dressed in red, walking in with someone else. Nothing wrong, nothing promised, still felt something I couldn't rationalize myself. You asked, were you jealous? I said, a little. You smiled like you just won the state. I finally planned to ask you out, then somehow I was still too late. Because at the post-game party, some girl put a hand on my arm. You appeared beside me, linked yourself through mine, and said, yeah, he's taken. I said, what? You said, don't ruin it. Then finally lost your patience because you're my crush, idiot. And suddenly every year of evidence made perfect sense. You weren't unattainable. You were standing right there, stealing my food, wearing my clothes, showing up everywhere. And I wasn't rejecting you, I was trying to be fair. Because beautiful women get tired of men inventing invitations that were never there. So maybe I was slow, maybe you were scared. Maybe love spent 8 months speaking indirectly, while both of us pretended not to care. But once you finally said it, I stopped calculating. Left the tablet home, showed up at 7, opened your door and took you somewhere that had nothing to do with load-bearing walls. I drew every line, but somehow missed the sign. Now every stolen hoodie looks embarrassingly obvious in hindsight. Breakfast at my desk, your smile across the stands, the way you ran to find me after every game and always reached for my hand. Drew every line, but somehow missed the sign. You were my crush, I was yours. Turns out neither one was hard to find. And if someday our kids ask how their parents lost a year, I'll say your mother stole 3 hoodies, your father brought AutoCAD in, and somehow we still ended up here. Coffee spill, Friday games, 1 blue dress, 1 terrible work date mistake, 1 party, 1 jealous lie, 1 perfect confession. You're my crush, idiot. Years later you still steal my fries, still wear my hoodie, still say 65% of me is legally yours somehow. And when you catch me overthinking, you pull me closer. Tell me, Ryan, no drawings, no plans, just kiss me. These days I understand the sign.